Why, hello there, YouTubers, and my subscribers especially. You gotta separate you from the rest of you flakes. Sub you flakes. Something I've been thinking about and I've seen happening a lot is a lot of fights between men and women, mostly just yelling contests. I've seen like 3 in the last month, and it's kind of alarming. I guess when times get brutal, people start fighting with each other. Thankfully, none of them have turned violent. But in case that was kind of my point, is I usually stick around and watch these fights and make sure they kind of dissolve on their own. But one was really intense. It was at this gas station, and we were getting gas across the street at a different gas station, which had cheaper gas. And we watched this this girl come out of the gas shop, the Fun Mart or whatever you want to call it, the Quickie Mart, and this man was following her, and she had something in her hand, and he wanted to get that whatever it was out of her hand, and they started yelling at each other. And then she started walking away really briskly to near the road, and he followed her, and they were about in the spillway of where rain comes and stuff, just I don't know, like 4 feet from the road, which is a highway. And they're still arguing and talking, and finally he has his arms around her, and she has whatever she has in the middle, hanging on to it, and he's around her, almost like a old school dance or something. But they're actually really fighting over whatever that item is. And you know, me and Daniel are just getting tensed up because we're getting ready to get involved. We're getting ready to cross that street and get involved with whatever is going down over there, because easily he could push her out into the road, he could hurt her right there in the spillway, and you don't want to be that close to the road on the ground. And I'm not going to tolerate some guy hurting a woman right in front of me. So we're watching this very intensely, getting closer and closer to the road, just minds racing and everything, and we're just everything's getting ramped up. And finally, the man gets what he wants out of her hand, and he walks over to the car. She follows, gets in, and they drive off. That was it. That was it. And it hit me like a ton of bricks. It's like, if I got involved at one of those earlier stages, and you know, it was getting intense because he is manhandling her to get where that object was out of her hands. If I got involved, touched any of them, hurt any of them, basically she would testify in court probably against me and side with him no matter what was going down, just because they have some sort of relationship. No matter how twisted it is, it would come back on me. And that's why, as a man, I always stress that you always have to be very careful in these situations and weigh your options and know when to act, because if you act too soon, like I said, it could come up and bite you in the ass. Because obviously it wasn't that big of an argument. Of course, it looked very physical to me, and I was thinking, geez, this could end badly if I don't get involved. But it turns out it kind of dissolved on its own. I do not know what was in her hand. Here's a thought. I have an inkling. Maybe it was a scratch-off lotto ticket. Maybe she won $500 and he was saying, that's my money. I gave you the money to get that lotto ticket. Give it back. Or it could have been a cell phone or something, or a call that she was threatening to make. I am not positive of which. But I wanted to put this out here because, you know, whenever I learn something, and that was a big lesson for me, I like to pass it on to as many people as I can. And the lesson here is always weigh your options and sit on the sidelines for as long as you can before getting involved in something like this, because they'll drag your slap ass. What's the term? Slap happy. They'll drag your slap happy ass into court and sue you, and then end up walking out together like nothing happened before. It's sad that these abusive relationships exist, but they do, obviously, and people who fight stick together. There's a moral. I guess I guess you go through a couple of wars, even if it's against each other, and you get a closer bond. I don't know. The sad part is she looked much younger than him. It looked like he was taking advantage of her in this relationship. Yeah, I was telling Dan I thought it was a father and daughter, but he said no, I think they were a couple. So yeah, so always it's hard, but you always got to use uh, your own judgment the best you can as a man with strong power to know when to step in and not to step in. And I'm very thankful that I held back and looked at the situation for a long time as a whole and didn't do anything about it, because apparently they were happy. Once he got what he wanted out of her hands, they both walked right back into the car and drove off. Real fast, too. Real fast, because they saw they were making a scene, and I guess they didn't want any cops involved. There were some people selling barbecue right on that corner who had words with them right before they started getting in that spillway, fighting over whatever it was they were fighting over. So, yeah, it's just funny. It's just so weird. Been seeing a lot of that happening, and I guess in these troubled times, you'll see a lot of people just bickering and fighting. And that one actually was the most physical I've seen something. But again, it dissolved really fast, and I was able to save my own ass some time and money and peace of mind, which is very, very, very valuable. Thank you for watching.